Hi there, this is John Barton. I'm at the Tandy Leather Shop, and I'm going to show you guys what leather is. So on AZ, people have asked us what are the different leather qualities. So I've come in the Tandy shop, and they've been kind enough to let me show you some leather. So I've showed them some of our cases. So we showed some of our tooling cases here, and so basically, I'm just going to walk you through some of the leather that's used, and you can understand the quality differences. And I'm not going to show you the price differences on the leather itself. You can find that out online, but you can see the differences in sizes. So let's start here with tooling leather. Okay, so tooling leather comes from different parts of the cow, and each one has a little bit different flexibility or different use for different things. Let's walk over here first, and I'll show you a saddle. So here, this is a saddle that everybody knows. So you can see here, we use tooling leather here. All the different parts are tooled. This is either machine stitched or hand stitched right through here. Saddle makers will generally put their mark on it. Okay, so let's walk back over here and start with the different tooling leathers. Okay, so this is bellies right here. Now they're in the process of moving here, so there's a lot of different stuff around. But basically, you go from a say this right here would be about a 4 or 5 ounce leather in the thickness. Okay, and leather is generally graded on the markings on it, so you can see here how this one here has a mark right through here, so it'll be a little bit cheaper. And move over here, and here we're going to have about say it's 7-8 ounce, just guessing. Not sure if I'm right, but you see the stretch marks in through here, so some people like that, some people don't for tooling, right? Right, he didn't want me to show the tag, so I was guessed right. It's about 6-7 ounces. So, but so anyway, you know, this piece right here, you know, would probably be a little bit undesirable if you wanted a real clean piece for tooling. But some people like the character in here, so it just depends on the use. And if we go to another piece here, you see a little bit cleaner, a little less stretch marks in here. I'm not sure if I'm getting that right, but let me move over here. Here we have the shoulders. Okay, so you can see what that looks like right here. You can go online and you can see the different cow hides, but you see how this piece here is real dirty with a lot of stretch marks in here. So you'd probably want to use this on the lower part of the leather, somewhere like the chaps or the stirrups or something like that, where it really wouldn't matter. Now here's a nice piece that's a little bit cleaner. Okay, a few little blemishes here. Now this next piece is really interesting. This is these here are veg tan embossed. Now what I've been showing you so far has been veg tan, which means that the leather is tanned with plants, usually the oak bark, and this particular one is embossed. So you can see here it's got a kind of a python look to it. Now embossed means basically stamped. So they take a big plate and they stamp it, and this particular piece could be colored any way that the leather worker wanted to color it. Okay, and then you can have that in different types here. So for example here, and this is a thin piece, but I'll show it to you if I can get it open. See, this is embossed with a kind of a Sheridan pattern, but it's a pretty thin piece, right? So this piece here is actually probably about 2 ounce or so leather. So what do we got there? Doesn't say on there, but anyway, it's very thin. So you'd use that as a decorative cover somehow. You can make a wallet or something out of that. Okay, so if we move over here, you can see something more expensive. These are from Europe. Okay, and you'll see the side here. Now this is about about 4 or 5 ounce leather. But you see how nice and clean this is? See here? Now I don't know if this is a correct grain. I would say probably, which means that all the imperfections have been sanded off of it, so it gives you a nice clean slate to tool on. Okay, and you want to see something really thick over here. This one right here is probably about 12, 14 ounces or so, and that would be, pull it out and see, it's 9-10 ounce Latigo. Okay. So you can see how that's not colored all the way through. So in the center, it's got a surface finish right here.
Oh yeah.
You got the back side here. So, and let's walk over here a little bit more. Show you some lambskin. Okay, lambskin is generally pretty thin. Okay, so this is lambskin. This is 2-3 ounce leather or lower, and generally you use this for lining gloves and things like that. Okay, then over here we've got hair on. This is hair on the hide right here. So you can see there's no scars and markings, no holes in it. Okay, and these are cowhide remnants over here. You can see the hair here, long hair. You could use these for inlays and things like that. Looks like I'm running out of battery, so I'm going to show you real quick. Okay, so here we have garments. This is garment weight. Cowhide, this is Napa leather right here, and this is to me, I think this is a top grain because it looks like it's colored the same all the way through. Okay, so you can see it's very nice and soft, very supple. And if you take this type here and you scratch it, it won't rub the color off. It'll just make a scratch into the leather. So as opposed to, say, a split. Let me find a split over here somewhere where to show you something where the leather would scratch off, like something like this, where you have a surface coating like that. It would scratch off, and it would show this color underneath. So that would scratch off pretty easily. See how the color is much different on the top than it is through the bottom. So that's where the surface has been sanded off, and then the color has been, this surface coating's been applied. So that'll scratch and rub off a lot easier. Okay, now as opposed to something like this, which is a top grain, where again it's been colored all the way through, and you can see the color difference from the top to the bottom is very clear, very close. So this one will wear, in my opinion, will wear a lot better than something like this right here. Let's see here. I'm trying to don't want to run out of battery. Okay, so these are more Napa leathers here. Okay, and you can see with the Napa leathers, it's just, since the surface is done, you can see here that the surface here shouldn't have any blemishes on it because it's all been sanded off, and then this texture has been imprinted onto the leather. Okay, so here we come over to some oil tans. Okay, so now oil tans are leathers that basically have a high oil content in there, and this one's more of a suede, kind of a sueded oil tan right here. They're generally pretty heavy. One thing people like about the oil tans here, now here, this one here, see, I don't consider this one to be like a true oil tan here, because it's more like a chrome tan that just has the surface printed on it. See, the true oil tan, in my opinion, goes all the way through, something like this, where the color goes all the way through on it. But generally, oil tan is characterized by the fact that you can distress it and you get a different color. See how the color comes out right there? So at the end of the day, when the case gets aged, it'll look really good. I know I'm not doing a good job here. I'm pretty tired, but you can see here how the oil tan has a nice distressed look to it. So, and all these hides right here are Most of these, I'd say, are about 4 ounces. All right, what else do we have here? So we have some elk hides here, and elk is very soft when it gets tanned. This leather it's real good for soft cases, for linings, for gloves, that sort of thing. So you see a lot of that made with it. Also good for coloring. You know, here's some good white leather made out of elk. And what else do we have here? We got some hair on cow hides. Okay. So you can see these right here. We walk around. Okay, suede. Suede is where the surface has been sanded and left in kind of a rough state. So it's sort of a velvety feeling to it, but it's not the same as a new book. I don't know if they have any new books here to show you. But basically, suede has a little, it's like the backside of the leather, except it's cleaner. Okay, so I think most of you are familiar with suede. You know what suede feels like. You might be able to see the texture a little bit better on this black. But nubuck, for example, is similar to suede, but it's a much finer nap on there, so it's very fine. Okay, this is a Napa leather. This is a white Napa leather. This would be similar to what you'd find on some of your tennis shoes. Okay, and then this basically this color is painted onto the top. So if you scratch this off, you'll get to the gray part very quickly. Okay, now this here is again a Napa leather with a nice surface structure on. So this would make a nice case right here. You see how there's lots of character on here? Everything. This is what we call the top grain, where all the scratches, all the marks, and the hide marks have been left on it. Okay, so while this is a Napa, which means chrome tan, you see here, for example, that would be a blemish that you wouldn't want on the case, right? You know, some people might like that, but what you would do is you'd cut around that, and you get to this part right in here where you have nice character, but you don't have a lot of fence marks or bite marks on there. So for me, I would take this piece of leather and I would make a nice case out of this, and I would just cut around any of the really big blemishes on there. So that's the kind of leather I would like to work with, that piece right there. Coming back here, we have a nice brown Napa. Okay, so this is a very elegant piece, and you can see, again, here you can see that the surface has been left. This is a full grain hide right here, where you've got all the imperfections and everything that comes with it, the character of the leather. It has a slightly pebbled. Now it's been slightly pebbled, but all the markings have been left on it, so it's a very good piece with just a slightly pebbled grain imprinted on top of the markings. Okay, and you can see here again how the color goes the same all the way through, so you scratch this and it'll retain its color. Alright, this is a piece that I particularly like to work with right here. This is a Napa. It's very thick. It's actually kind of hard to work with, but it's really nice. This has got a corrected grain on here with a very deep pebbling. Don't know if you can see that, but it's very deep and textured. And you can see from the side here, you can see the thickness on there. This is about an 8 ounce, 10 ounce piece right here, so it's very heavy. But when it's done, it looks really nice on a case, you know. But it just makes an extremely heavy case. Basically, the thicker the leather, the more opportunity you have to really get a nice texture on it. Let's see how I'm going to have to come back through here and fold all this back up for them. But see here now, this hide right here has been left with all the stretch marks in through here. You know, this is the top layer of the animal, and it has not been corrected. But what they did is they just imprinted kind of a pebbled layer on the skin. So you can see what that looks like right there. Now if you get into this section right in here, it's very soft. Okay, and then the middle section through here is a little bit stiffer, so that would be more desirable for wrapping it around a case. You could use something like this for pockets or some part, and it would be really nice. So we just generally try to find a hide like this and cut out the parts that look the best, and use them in the place that they should be used in. So let's see here. I'm going to be back through here in a minute, folding all these back up. Here's some lighter weight tooling leathers and some more embossed. So again, see the embossed tooling. See, this is what the veg tan looks like. You know, it's just all natural beige color. You can color it and dye it any color you want. Over here is one that's going to be slightly cheaper because you can see a lot of imperfections in it. See, these are the things you would want to cut around. You know, these could be bite marks or insect marks, things like that. So, you know, there's some things add character and some things just detract from it. So it's just up to you what you want to do with it. So, and again, getting into some of the embossed stuff. Okay, this is embossed cowhide right here, pretty thin piece. This would be garment weight, something you use to make a shirt or pants or whatever you want to do with that, or lightweight wallet. You can see a lot of the different ones here. Reptile print is something that people like to put on it a lot. Okay, now you see here how there's not much texture to this. I mean, there's a pattern, but there's not much. It's not very deep in the texture. So this is something I don't prefer to use because I don't like the way it feels. Okay, so it's too thin and too light for that with the texture. Let's see if we can find one with a good texture that I like here. Going back to this one, this is a little bit more acceptable for me right here because there's more texture to it. If we flip this over to the back, you can see how that texture is imprinted through the back here. And that really makes a big difference on the case as far as I'm concerned. It makes it less look like wallpaper and more like a real skin. Over here we have some alligator that can be colored. So these are the backs of the alligators. So you can see on the real stuff you can definitely feel it. You feel the ridges and feel how hard it is. So there's definitely a big difference between real alligator and print. Okay, what else do we have here? Let's see here. Again, more upholstery leathers that are just kind of with a surface treatment on here. So you can see here, people ask about the quality of the leather. Well, this one's a real glossy one. You know, this one won't scratch well. You know, because when it scratches, you're going to get this on the bottom of it when it scratches through. So we prefer not to use things like this. You know, we want ones that are colored all the way through. Now this is, if you could feel this one, this is very stiff feeling. Feels like almost like cardboard. Okay, so you don't want this right here, but it's a lot cheaper. Same thing here. You know, it just doesn't have a good feeling to it. It feels more like cardboard. Okay, what else do we have here? This is synthetic wool lining, so it's not real lining. This is kind of synthetic hairs put onto a piece of leather. Okay, I don't really know. I guess they glue it on or somehow attach it that way. I guess that's about it, really. You know, just all kinds of different. I mean, leather just encompasses so many different facets that you can do what you want with it. I mean, we've made cases out of stuff like this with silver. See here, there's no metallic animals out there. But you know, this would have its use if somebody wanted something like that. I've made really cool looking cases out of that. And again, you're looking at the durability. So as long as it passes the scratch test, I'm happy with it. What else do we have here? So I guess that's about it for me holding the camera. So, you know, you got something like python here. Jack Justice likes to use a lot of the pythons, so you can see what one looks like. The exotic skins there. I think these are rabbits. See? Rabbits are very thin skinned animal. Stingray. Okay, this is very, very tough. Stingray. It's very tough on your needles. Okay, what's this? Ostrich leg skins. Okay, these are the leg of an ostrich, so as you can see, they're not big enough for a case. More Latigo over here. Latigo's a really nice leather to use, but it's very tough to deal with. Okay, well, I guess we'll finish up over here with the saddle. Show you guys what a nice saddle looks like. This is an old wineskin. Kind of an interesting way to show you what what leather could be used for. This was to hold water or wine right there. Okay, this is a beautiful piece of Latigo right in here. So, there you go. That's it. Hope you enjoyed your tour of the Tandy Leather Store, and thank you very much.